Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. First off, thanks to my subscribers. If you haven't done so, please do so. Just want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a good one. I got 8. I'm fat, more fatter than I was. So if you've seen the description, we're at an alternate location for Thanksgiving. We came to California to visit my son Brandon, and today we're going to do a little video on his cars. A little walk around, show you those cars, and let me know what you guys think. I'm going to let him do most of the yapping since he knows mostly about them. I did help build a couple of them, and I did some work on some of them. And I may throw in some stuff that he might have forgot we done to those cars as he's walking around these fabulous Fords here in California. So without further ado, I'll kind of turn the camera over to him, and he can walk us through some of his builds. So what do we got here?
Yeah, so this is my 84 GT high school car. Originally built it in high school. Picked it up out of Idaho. It's a pretty rust-free car. And got it running, and then we kind of went through it good enough to drive it out to high school, and I worked on it in auto class for a while and pulled the engine out of it in auto class and sandblasted the engine bay and did all that type of stuff. And so right now it's got a 8.8 disc brake rear end, front and rear. It's 5-lug swap, obviously, on a set of old school Jag wheels. They don't make this style anymore. It's just a typical heads cam GT40 B cam 302, nothing crazy. I kind of built it on what I could afford at the time, and it's still running today, so I don't really care to do much more to it. But we did the interior with the 85 model sand beige interior. With those are the TMI seat covers.
Yeah, so these are the TMI seat covers, like you said. If anybody's wondering what the tan looks like, you can't really find much for 84 cars, and this is kind of your only option. What's up with the shift boot there? Who makes that?
Yeah, so that's a Redline Goods shift boot, and it's just the black leather, red stitching, nice shift boot, and then it's a Ford Racing 5-speed 03 Cobra style knob when they used to sell them. I still have the e-brake boot that I need to install as well. It's just haven't got around to it. And it's got a Momo steering wheel, black leather with the red stitch to match the shift boot.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the interior. Minimal, clean.
So like you said, remember driving to Idaho and pulling this thing off a trailer. I think it ran on about, what, 3 cylinders maybe?
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Pretty rough.
So we'll walk around the driver's side.
But all the tan on the car is actually original paint. The black has been redone, obviously, because it looks really good. And then we did the fresh pinstripes down the side as well. And all the trim's been painted. It could probably use a touch-up, but it looks pretty good. I'll pop the hood for you.
So like you said, we did the trim from the bottom down, but the tan's original. If anybody's wondering about the aftermarket 84 GT hood stripes, they fit pretty good.
Made by Phoenix Graphics.
Was kind of happy with those. They turned out pretty nice. So anybody that's watched any of my past videos, the pace car that you built?
Yep, the pace car and this one and a couple others.
Yeah, so he's kind of into the patina look, obviously. He does have a couple really nice cars. We'll cover those as well, but you know, he just likes survivor cars, and they're actually really cool. So like he said, we did get it running. He drove it to high school, and him and his buddies, I think Jake and a couple of your friends helped?
Yep, Jake and Aaron and a couple of those guys, we pulled it out and disassembled it down to everything, pulled everything out of the engine bay, sandblasted it, and then brought it back home and put a fresh coat of paint on it. And it's held up pretty well over the years. It's been together for about 7 years now since we painted it. And
so he's done pretty much all the work on this car. I did supervise a lot. So when he did it, like I said, he was what, 16, 17?
Yeah.
16. So that was kind of the first one he built. And so that's this 84. Anything else you want to tell us about it? I know it's got a K member on it. Which K member?
Oh yeah, it's got full tubular suspension front and tubular control arms in the back. It's all QA1 front K member and control arms. And then it's got strange adjustable front struts and UPR coilover kit with UPR caster camber plates, UPR rear control arms with 373 gears, Flowmasters, you know.
Your typical bolt-on Fox body, let's see how much money we can throw at the suspension type car.
Yeah.
Now I will tell you that K-member, it moved the wheel forward, what, inch and something?
Yeah, it moves it forward about an inch.
So I kind of customized the front fenders. I had to cut about an inch out of the fenders down here. We did this about, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a
Maybe
while.
7. So I cut the fenders kind of like a 91 to 93, so we had some clearance in the front. It was actually hitting the tire when you would turn the wheel before we did that. So anybody that's got any questions on how to do that, you can hit me up, foxjunk73@gmail.com. So this is his 84. I think he wants to move on. You leave the hood up.
Yeah,
All right.
fair enough.
So we're gonna move on to this one. This was his what was it? COVID crisis car, we'll call it.
Yeah, this was the COVID car. We all got shut down for COVID. At least I did, and I had about three to 6 months to build something. Well, I didn't have to build anything, but I wanted to. I was bored sitting around the house like most people, and this thing popped up on the auction site, and I couldn't refuse what I bought it for, so I picked it up. The car had sat for about, I think I checked the last registration, and it sat for 21 years. It's original straight 6 automatic car. I drug it home, cleaned all the leaves and all the dirt off of it, power washed it really nice, and the mice had ate through the original engine wiring harness, so I fixed that and put some plugs in it, some oil, and the straight 6 fired up after 21 years. I was pretty surprised. So once I got it running, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, but I knew I wanted to put a V8 in it, so I started looking for swap cars, and I managed to stumble upon an 86 GT here locally that had some nice modifications done to it. So I went and took a look at it and picked that car up and drove it home, and well, I swapped this car with that car, and when I was done doing the swap, I actually put the straight 6 that was originally out of this car in that car, and sold it on eBay to a gentleman down in Texas, and he was making a drag car, so he's super happy with it. But this is my 82 Mustang GLX.
If you didn't notice, he's got a thing for tan.
Yeah.
Sand beige, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yep. This is technically medium vanilla with a pastel vanilla. It's actually a 2-tone coupe, and then that's I think light desert tan is what
A
they
light
call
desert
it
tan in 84. So those of you who don't know, he's in the Air Force, stationed
Yep.
out in California. So when COVID hit, Air Force, most all the military kind of shut down everything. Most people were working from home, especially non-essential stuff like that. So this was his COVID build. We're gonna walk it around, and he can tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so this is it. Like I said, it's an original. This car is all original paint. It's not perfect, but it shines up pretty well. It's a patina car again. It's got front suspension's all stock. Rear suspension is mostly stock. It's got a set of gears in it as well, 373s, weld wheels. I wanted to keep it kind of period correct in a sense, as if you could build this car in the 90s, how would you build it? And that's kind of how I wanted to keep it. So if you notice, it's got an old Ford Motorsport banner in the window.
It's
Kinda
kind
matches the car.
of hard to see. So the date on this thing was what? We put this on a couple days ago.
Yeah,
What's the date on that? 84.
Yeah, 1984 is
Yeah.
the date on that one.
So those you know, Ford Motorsport, they can't run the Motorsport flyer anymore or banner.
Yep.
So that's kind of old.
But the interior was in pretty rough shape when I got it. The seats were in okay shape. So that's really about it. We'll take a look at the interior. I did a reproduction dash pad on it. Dyed a couple parts to make it look good. Like I said, the seats are original. They weren't ripped anywhere. They're just not perfect, which was okay with me. It's got aftermarket replacement carpet, the correct color. Fresh headliner.
That's some of that what? Joann's material? Look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah,
Joann's
that's,
or Hobby Lobby. If you guys are looking for some material versus a whole board, it really looks nice.
Yep. And then also with that too, you can kind of see it through the back window, but the rear
Oh, yeah.
package tray was in really rough shape. So that's also the headliner material there.
That looks pretty good. It's the first time I noticed that.
Yep. So I did that too. Door panels are in fair shape, but like I said, I just wanted to keep it simple and easy and just clean it up and make a nice driver out of it.
I said this is a California rust-free car. Just,
Yep.
He's been here its whole life.
Yep.
It's a really nice little solid car. It's clean as hell underneath. Excuse
Yep.
my my profanity.
It's
like I
extremely
said,
rust-free, and like I said, just kind of period correct style build. So like I said, all the tan's original. The black, same thing, kind of like the 84. The black's been redone on this car. The front grille, the rear bumper trim, and all the pinstripes have been redone on the car. Keep it looking better, at least. A lot of that stuff gets faded out and dingy.
So now he's got all the outside talked about. Let's pop the hood, and this one's kind of a little beast under the hood. Like I said, he built this kind of if he was going to build a little coupe in the 90s, mid 90s, and turned out. Check that shit out, guys. Again, he built all this car himself. I had nothing to do with it. He did get the supercharger from me. If those of you know me, my stuff's mostly stock. He just finished the bottom of the hood. He cut out one of the braces. That thing looks nice and clean. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Yep. So I had to cut out this brace here to clear the intake manifold, because you have to run a spacer to clear the injectors.
Yeah.
And then I had to kind of modify the bottom of the hood over here to clear the supercharger. So I cut out a lot of this bracing, kind of make that look cleaner.
They don't get much more clean than this. I know I say that a lot, and I know my builds are normally really clean, but you know, he grew up watching me do this stuff and helping out, and you know, if you teach them right, they'll grow up right, right?
Right.
So this is the little tan coupe. He's even got the old school ram air down here on the bottom. Yeah. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, so being as it is an 82 and obviously it's an EFI car, I bought an 86 model car. Like I said, it did have some goodies when I bought it. It had a set of cylinder heads on it, a set of Edelbrock aluminum heads, and a cam. I was told it was an E-cam, but who knows? We're not sure.
Well, let's find out. Let's just get a little cold start on this one.
Start it up for you.
Cold start. No warm up, no nothing. It's that idle. Pretty sick, guys. I think it's a B-cam. What do you think? I don't know. It's got a little chop to it. All right, so you can turn that one off. I don't know, maybe give it a little rev. How's that? Not too much. It is cold. Nothing like some old school 2 chambers. Now I know I give coyotes a lot of shit, but I'm sorry guys, there's no coyote that sounds like that. You can put whatever muffler you want on it.
Yeah, this one's it's got Black Widow mufflers, long tube headers, H-pipe, and like I said, it's a lot of little detail stuff. Pulled this one out during COVID, yanked everything out, painted the engine bay, and started putting it back together.
Nice little Moroso polish cover. Did the V8 brakes. Got some headers on there.
Yeah, the master cylinder is actually polished as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of hard to tucked back down in there, but
yeah. All right. So that's the little coupe. I like it. So we move on. Anybody that's watched my videos knows about my ASN 95 Cobra. So when did you get this one?
So I picked this car up about it's probably been about 5 months ago now. I had a GT500 that I sold to purchase the truck, and had a little bit of money left over from that, and I've really been trying to find a nice 94, 95 Cobra for a while, specifically a white car. And I've been looking for one for about 6 months off and on, and you actually sent me the link to this one late at night one night.
Found this down in Vegas.
Yep, it was down in Vegas, so I hit the guy up, and he was a fellow active duty military member, and we kind of talked it off and managed to make a deal on the car. So I drove down there that weekend and picked it up and brought it back. I was kind of like that actually the first long trip that I had taken on the truck too, so it was a good test of how well will the truck pull, and it did awesome. So, but this is my 95 Cobra. It is a 56,000 mile original car, besides the hood obviously. It is crystal white with tan interior. They only made 66 this color combination, so it's actually a pretty rare car.
So it's a tan cloth car, right? That's what makes it 66.
Yep, tan cloth car.
For those of you who know what truck he's talking about, is that big monstrosity sitting over there.
Yeah,
If you watch my past videos, we built that truck what, back in March, April?
Yeah, back in March.
Yeah. So this is the interior in this thing, super mint. You don't see tan cloth interiors come up at all. I know a lot of people hate on the tan, but I'm all about different stuff. I like all colors interior. Now I have my Cobra is black interior, and I'll tell you, if I could have bought that car brand new with gray opal interior, it'd have gray. Black is awesome. It just shows dirt like crazy. The tan, it doesn't at all.
Yep.
So on this one, it's pretty much stock.
Yep.
Other than the hood, right? You just finished that?
Completely stock other than the hood. I've wanted to do my own take on a 95 Cobra for a while. So I've always loved the 95 Cobra R, and it kind of inspired a little bit on this car. I have a bunch of parts waiting to go on, but the big major piece is the wheels. I'm having a set of custom wheels built for it, and they're almost done. So hopefully those get done here pretty soon. Within the next month I'll have them on the car, but I've got a set of springs to put on it, the custom wheels, the export mirrors, and export tail lights, which if you don't know what those are, they kind of look like 03 Cobra mirrors. And then the tail lights have like an amber strip on the bottom.
You've already got that stuff painted though, right?
Yep, all that's painted and done, ready to put on the car. I'm just kind of waiting on the wheels to show up. So once those get here, I'll kind of finish it off. But for right now, it runs and drives great. The only performance mod, and I don't know if you want to call it a performance mod, but it's got a aftermarket 3-core radiator in it. That's it. This is, like I said, I just put this hood on here.
So you guys, he painted his hood himself here at home. So those of you think I did that, nope, he's been doing all his own paint work here for a while now.
Yeah, painted the engine bay in that. And
yeah, he just finished the engine bay and the tan coupe. He just painted the bottom of the hood, and he painted the whole engine bay and all that stuff here. So, but like I said, this Cobra's mostly stock. He'd know better than modify mine.
Yeah, can't modify that one. So I bought my own to do it too. But
so.
Yeah.
I like how you finish the bottom of the hood. I see a lot of people that don't finish these hoods. Now this is what, a HO Fiber Trans hood?
Yep.
So this is
a company that made them for Ford back in '95 for the 95.
Right.
Cobra.
I think there's just a couple minor differences during their actual sale to the public hood versus a production 95R hood. I think the 95R hood has a cutout in the bottom.
Yeah, they have a cutout back here.
And they use studs for the nut, or studs for the hinge bolts, not a bolt.
Yep.
But other than all, the fit and finish on this hood was really, really nice. I like how he painted the fiberglass. A lot of people will paint that black. I think I like it white, but to each their own. So, like I said, this one's all stock.
Yeah, it's gonna stay that way. It's nice and reliable and quiet. It's different from all my other ones, so it's nice to jump in a car every once in a while and just cruise with the AC and the radio and
not have to worry about
it. So it'll stay stock mechanically, but it'll look really good.
All right.
So leave it open, I guess. Have all of them open.
Yeah, we'll just leave them all open. So that comes to the 03 Cobra. Everybody knows what these are. I'll let you talk about it.
Yep.
And I'll add to it. I know this car very well. Well, let us know what it is.
We picked it up. I've had the car for what, 3 years now, about?
Probably 3, almost 4.
Yeah. So I've had it for a while. It's a built motor car, and just a lot of little minor details that are different from a regular 03 Cobra. It's mineral gray, which is one of like 302, I believe, in mineral gray. I think it's the 3rd rarest color or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but so let's kind of get into it. It's got the clear corner lights like most people do. It's got a OEM, well, not OEM, but you could buy it from Ford Racing Cobra hood bra. Those are kind of difficult to find nowadays. And it's got custom painted Calypso calipers and center caps with the SVT decal in them.
That's kind of cool. You've never seen that before. I like the center caps.
Yep. And then all the trim on this car is the same way. I kind of redid a lot of the black because they get faded over the years. So the trim on the mirrors and the sail panels.
So the sail panels are Celine,
Yep.
if people don't know. They're getting super expensive, right?
Yeah, they're pretty expensive, and they do take a little bit of work to make it fit, right?
So those of you who don't know, the Celine filler panels, sail panels, they look really nice once you put a lot of work into them.
Yeah, we've
So,
got quite a bit of work.
They are OEM. He did all the work to them, but he did do that at my house in Utah. So I did supervise a little bit because they're fiberglass. And if I remember correctly, they're kind of a pain in the butt right up in here where this piece fits.
Yeah, so this piece, to get it to fit flush kind of how the factory would have, we had to take a lot of material off of the C-pillar here to get it to sit flush, or at least as flush as we could.
So if you see a lot of 99 to 04 Celines, their panels right here really fit really bad. They don't fit flush at all. He got this one probably about 99%, I would say. So it looks really good.
And
he did the bullet.
Yeah, these are bullet
side scoops.
Side scoops, yep. And just little things to kind of set it apart from a regular 03 Cobra.
I said when he got the car, it was pretty much mostly stock. Like you said, we did a built motor in the car. We built the motor, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So the motor we built 2 years ago, went fully through it. New pistons, rings, bearings. The really things you'd want to replace when you're planning on modifying it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we built it with the intentions on modifying it.
So I suggested you drive it, almost a year?
Yeah. I put about 3,000 miles on it and drove it for a year and made sure it was mechanically good and
so
no issues.
And then he kind of went south on us a little bit. He decided he wanted to do a little modification to it. Like I said, we built the motor 2 years ago and I wanted some break-in time. Now look at that bad MFer right there. I know there's a lot of guys that, build cars and stuff like that, but we took a lot of time building this one and I think it turned out really amazing. He spent a lot of time. Who's your polish guy? What's his name?
Yeah, Francisco Ortiz.
Throw him a shout out?
Yeah, I'll throw him a shout out for sure. He polished these coolant tanks for me. He polished the GT40 tubular intake on that car. Pretty much a lot of the polished stuff you see on that car, he did everything. It's Ortiz Polishing on Facebook. Hit him up. He's a great dude. Fast turnaround, and
he polished the supercharger on the coupe. He just got that back from him.
Yep.
He did the coil cover, the GT40 upper and lower. Yep. He's done a lot on this car. Yep. Basically anything that was aluminum other than the blower that came from Lethal, just like that. You paid the extra big money for that blower?
Yeah,
so that's a Lethal Black Friday sale. They will cut you a deal, but don't be in a hurry to get your parts, right?
Yeah.
So
last
Black Friday last year in December, or was it November? When is their Black Friday? November?
Yeah, November.
So we ordered in November, and you got the blower when?
I got the blower.
March?
Yeah, March.
April?
February, March time.
Yeah, so if you're going to look at getting some Black Friday stuff, make sure you got some patience because it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, it took a while.
But in the end, he's very happy with the blower. Lethal did a bang-up job, or Whipple. The car runs amazing. So a lot of people that build these cars, when we first did this, we weren't sure what, because a lot of tuners don't want to mess with the 03s, right? They're not as easy as the 05 up cars to tune. They're a little bit more of a pain in the butt if you're not data logging all the time or you're there at the dyno to get them to tune it. And unfortunately, being in California, he doesn't have anybody down the street that can do it. So I had a buddy of mine at Competition Auto in Fayetteville. His name's Carl. Carl's been doing all your remote tuning, right?
Yep.
So far, and the car runs really great. AFRs are spot on. So tell us a little about what injectors we went with.
Yeah, so the injectors on this car, I haven't seen anybody else do it still to my knowledge, are actually 2020 GT500 injectors. They're a 62-pound injector. Didn't know if it was going to work, but the dimensions were right, the plug was correct, and Carl over there at Comp Auto, we did a little bit of tuning with them, and seems like they're working out.
Now, we'll say, when we put the car together on the stock tune,
yeah,
it was stock MAF still or no?
Yeah, so it had the stock MAF with these injectors, and
the car ran almost perfect.
yeah.
I mean, granted, you're not going to want to get on it like that without having it tuned or something like that. Yeah. And then he changed to the, which MAF is on it now?
So right now it's got a SCT BA3000, which is what Carl was comfortable with tuning. He's done a lot of them. And it's a good MAF. It's got the JLT high flow intake. These are custom billet caps with the SVT engraved into them. They don't make those anymore. And as well as the oil cap here, it's actually got carbon fiber in the oil cap, and that's actually real carbon fiber, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you got the carbon fiber fuse box cover, your production number on there.
Yep.
So guys, this car's clean as hell. You know, he's, how old are you now? What, 24? 23, right?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. So, showing my age. I can't remember how old my wife is, so, and today's her birthday, and that's pretty bad. 24. So, we'll call it the, what we'll call it, the Joe Biden cloud, we'll call it. Can't remember shit.
Like
Let's
that.
go, Brandon.
Yeah.
But yeah, this car turned out amazing, and there's the 2020 GT500 injectors. They're exactly the same height as the 03s, same plug. They plug right in. So I hope nobody steals your idea, but it works pretty good.
Well, if it works, then...
So on the fuel pumps, which pumps you run?
Yeah, so the fuel pumps are Deechworks twin 340 pumps. They seem to be doing pretty good so far. No real complaints with those.
Right.
And
so this car, for those people, it is an original paint car. It's in excellent shape, other than the C-pillars and the bullet, C-panels. I think it's open, right?
Yep.
I mean, the interior is essentially, it's like new. Very well maintained car. He bought this from a guy here in Palmdale, right?
He was up in Bakersfield.
Bakersfield? Okay.
Yep. Up in Bakersfield, bought it from a gentleman up there, and well, the rest is history. But this one also has the 9901 Cobra.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did the take out alone taillights, I'm going to call them. For those of you that know, everybody that's trying to get these taillights, you might as well take out a loan, because that's about how much they cost.
They're getting pricey. When I bought them, I got lucky, and they weren't as expensive as they are now. But
so the catback on this one, I can't remember. It's got the Borla, right?
Yeah, it's a Borla Attack catback, which is a little loud for some people. And it wasn't until I put a off-road mid-pipe on it. It's a little loud now, but it still sounds pretty good.
Well, you got a key? Fire it up. We'll see what it sounds like.
A bunch of keys in my pocket here.
Yeah, he's as bad as me. He's been moving cars around. So for everybody that's still watching this video, thanks for hanging around. We'll get a little cold start. We did move it, but just barely. It up too much, it's still cold. So the motor, it's a 20 over. I think we went with a Wiseco piston. I can't remember for sure. I'm pretty sure it was. It might have been a stock mall 20 over. I can't remember for sure. It's been a minute. We did all new the ARP 2000 rod bolts, ARP side bolts, and all that stuff. When we built the motor, we did new alternator, power steering pump. We essentially didn't want any issues when the car was done. Oh, it's also, which head cooling mod did we go with?
MMR head cooling mod.
So yeah, it took a lot of time. If you want to shut it off, that's fine. Yeah. So on that head cooling mod, not that anybody would see it, but I think it's by far, I've built a lot of these cars, and I think that head cooling mod is probably by far the best modification you could do to one of these motors. For anybody that's built one, you know that these are really a pain to burp. The driver's side head gets a lot more temperature because the coolant doesn't circulate. But when we started this thing up, remember the coolant just shot straight out? As soon as we fired this thing up, it circulated instantly through that bypass. And it goes in the driver's side. Now I custom made an EGR tube. You can't see it, it's down behind the motor. So it looks factory, you can't see it. But yeah, so that's his
That's my 03.
That's his 03. The car's pretty clean. For what's it, 90,000 miles on it now?
Yeah.
So it's a 90,000 mile original paint car in super nice shape. And that's his really nice cars right now. He does have some projects, right?
Yep, got a couple projects going on. This is my learn how to paint project. It's a 87LX.
He's been watching my videos trying to learn how to do some paint work. He found this car down in, where'd you get this one at? Rosamond?
Yeah, down near Rosamond, in California. Car had sat this kind of similar as the coupe over there. This car sat for, I want to say like 18 years or something like that, and it's kind of a work in progress, so it's not much to look at now, but
it's a 5.0. It's an automatic car. He's going to convert it to a T5. He already did a fuel tank, and he did a fuel system.
Yep, brought it home and did a new fuel tank, new fuel pump, set of good injectors put in the car, and
it actually runs really well now.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I can't come on vacation without getting put to work. So yesterday, we bought this little thing at the sale. He was looking for a little daily driver, and I guess the Rangers are kind of cool now.
I mean, yeah,
Rescue Ranger?
I've always wanted
Ranger
a
Danger.
I wanted a Ranger in high school, but ended up with an
all-wheel drive Explorer.
Yeah.
V8.
Yeah.
You live in Utah, you can't be popping around in a two-wheel drive Ranger truck. I'd be coming to get you out of snowbanks.
Exactly. So, but eventually I got it. But this is a 2000 Ranger. What sold me on it was the color. I've never seen a Ranger this color before, so I had to have it when I saw it. And, don't mind my dogs barking back there. But it's got a 3.5 drop kit on it. We did that yesterday.
We got to do a little camber work to the front.
Yeah, it needs like a little bit of camber taken out of the front. It probably could go up about an inch.
If you were into ricers, it would be adequate, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once we get an alignment done on it, and it should ride out pretty good.
Yeah. So that's about it on that stuff. So
little collection, everybody. Hope I didn't bore you too much. It's a little bit different than the old man's.
Well, it's a little different, but you know, you're a lot younger than me, and it took me a lot longer to get where I am.
Yeah.
So those of you that watch my channel, you know, I apologize. This was a long video. I wanted to do this. It wasn't him. Get these cars out and video them, and he's done a lot of work on his own, most all of it. You know, I did a little work on the 84 GT, but that's it. The rest of them, you know, he pretty much built. I did do most of the engine work, right, in the 03. Yeah. So I come out back in April after the blower came in. Was it April, right?
Yeah.
And we installed the blower back in April, so he's had a few months to get that tuned out, and it's running really good. The AFRs are pretty much on the money, and car runs out really strong. Well, super strong, actually. So again, thanks for my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you got any questions, foxjunk73@gmail.com. And I hope everybody had a blessed Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching.